Oh, Chris Tanner's in the building. That means the show must begin. Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter Sunday to you all. My name's James. I'm a grateful recovering addict and alcoholic. I drank and used for 20 years, and I've been recovering for about 4 now. My suggested topic for this live stream is what about that phrase, God of your understanding. Although, as with every live stream, feel free to suggest a topic or bring up something that is affecting your recovery and sobriety today. Or just chill and lay back and we'll talk about whatever. Good morning, Alicia. Happy Easter to you. As you may or may not know, peanut butter contains protein is not a valid excuse to eat an entire bag of Reese's peanut butter eggs. I've tried it, it doesn't work. Yes, peanut butter does contain protein, but I think Reese's peanut butter also contains crack. So there's that. I'm not sure. My sponsor, I texted him that same joke this morning, Chris Tanner, and he said, well, it's the same amount of carbs if you eat them over the course of a year than it is if you eat them in one day. And he has a point there. There's something in Reese's peanut butter that is different than regular peanut butter. I do know this. I think it's crack. Not to trigger any recovering crack addicts out there. Aaron Yost, I woke up to 4 Reese's eggs paper in my bed this morning, so it's funny you said that. Reese's has cornered the market on Halloween, Easter. They got those Christmas trees for Christmas. I'm sure they got Valentine's. And they deserve it. Good on you, Reese's. Good on you. Who's feeling good this morning? Who's feeling fine? And who's feeling okay? And who's feeling horrible? Julie, happy Easter. Thank you, Chris Tanner. I wear these shirts for you guys. Mo honey, mo problems, baby. It looks like his name is Barry Smalls. Good morning, Daniel. It's always good to see your pretty face. How are you feeling this morning? Well, I quit vaping again. I've been a day without it. My story has been told here about vaping. I struggle with nicotine. Still, to this day, I haven't smoked cigarettes in years, but I smoked for 20 years. And I quit vaping. For any of you who are curious on how I do that, although I keep going back to it because they make it so damn easy to buy at these gas stations, these disposable vapes and stuff. If you're wondering how I quit, these hundreds of times that I have quit nicotine, I have gone from smoke down to vape. The vape I taper the milligrams down to the lowest they have. Then I step that down to nicotine lozenges. The lowest milligram that they have is 2 milligrams. And that's what I'm currently doing. For those of you who are serious about quitting smoking or quitting vaping, these nicotine lozenges are pretty tasty. That's what's in my Easter basket this morning. That's what the Easter Bunny brought me. Easter Bunny. I'm in the mood for some ham, Polly says. Us Catholics, humans, need some ham on Easter. Catholics are the only humans, Polly? Is that what you're saying with that slash down the middle? Do you think the vaping is actually that bad for you? Yes, I do. Not because doctors told me so, but because my lungs and my phlegmage and my body tells me so whenever I vape. Mike Tucker in the building. Greetings, Mike. We missed you. A happy day to you, sir. Are you surviving? Have you constructed your own COVID-19 mask? You're going on 3 months sober, I think, Mike. Correct? Going through that pink cloud phase, as I remember we talking the last time. This is what I'm doing for Easter, Linda. I'm withholding my commitment to the 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. streams. And I'll be chilling with my dog, my dad's dog, and watching her. And I'll be just working on my channel. What are you doing for Linda? What are you doing for Easter, Linda? You're on the 23rd, 3 months, Mike? Yeah, I know that feeling. The really frustrating thing is the 23rd, 24 hours. When you're trying to just go one day and you can't seem to make it past 5 o'clock or whatever your corresponding magic time of the hour is. Polly Pinch, no, all humans need to eat ham and pineapple. It does kind of suck because all of my family is getting older and we do not get together anymore like we used to. I wonder if anyone's getting together right now. I'm sure that the brave and reckless are. '52nd birthday today. Happy birthday, Alan. Mike, I have a meme queued up for you. You still in the building? Ham and pineapple pizza? Does that count? Yeah, I like the spiral hams. And usually my family will cook some ham for Easter. My Zoom meetings are spontaneous, Linda. I was thinking of putting one on today if you all want it. And Alicia, I believe Alicia has been wanting to a zoom, and a boom, boom, as we say around here. I'm not awake yet, so these jokes are lackluster, but I do have something for you, Mike. Forgive me for attaching this to you if it doesn't go over well. But we're all friends here. Here you go, Mike. That's a nice grave there. It'd be a shame if someone rose from it. Alicia, I'm gonna take a informal poll here with chat members and see who will commit to a Zoom meeting. I mean, because I will set it up after this chat for shortly after this chat. Alicia, I know you've been asking for one, and I'll post the invite on my Patreon pretty soon. Yeah. I just love modern memes. Or so the story goes. Is that how you talk, Mike Tucker? Or so the story goes. Yeah, Mike, from what I hear, Jesus didn't just talk shit, he walked the walk. No, I'm not poking fun at religion or Jesus. I'm open to all beliefs and all faiths and all walks of life. But I do love memes. And I'm pretty sure I would have loved the man, Jesus, as well. In fact, when asked what my one wish would be in any barroom construction site or dinner table conversation, if you had one wish, what would it be? I would wish to meet Jesus Christ, like in the person, in the flesh. Polly Pinch talking about Yoda is a bad dude, but I think that Jesus of Nazareth could take him in a fair one. I mean, the dude walked on water, turned water into wine. Yeah, my late brother-in-law was an evangelist. He literally did street preaching, and he was a cool dude, played basketball, and went to Woodstock 94, but was born again and preached Jesus. And he was always, I remember, not always, he once told me that he's kind of resentful at the fact that many artists paint and depict Jesus with smaller hands, more delicate hands than he deserves. He used to say Jesus was a carpenter and, you know, the Lord's son. The least they could do is give him some man hands. He always said that the depictions of Jesus in paintings was far too dainty. But there's two sides to every story, and I'm sure that the artists wanted to depict the gentle, caring, compassionate man before they depicted the badass carpenter that I'm sure he was. No carpenter has the dainty. Yeah, Alan turns, what'd you say, Alan? 54 today? Alan Greenson, happy birthday. I wasn't sure whether you were talking about your sobriety date, your belly button birthday, but I think you mean, well, actually, due to my Polish mind, or lack thereof, that's a Polish joke. I haven't woken up yet, so I can barely muster a smile to let you know I'm joking, but I'm sure you guys are getting to know me good enough to know when I'm joking. But you said 54, I think, so I take it that is your belly button birthday, Alan. Because if you're 54 years sober, we need to trade places, and this channel needs to be called Sober Alan. And if you're 54 years sober, 52nd birthday today, Alan. Dixie Normus. Welcome, Dixie Normus. Well, I'm sure some here would welcome Dixie Normus. I myself welcome you, Dixie. Better sip my coffee. These jokes are running out of steam. Thanks, boss. You sound like a dude, but your picture looks like a blonde woman. Later, Linda. Happy Resurrection Day to you as well. Mike Tucker thinks the paintings of Jesus make him look sickly, like an addict, almost. Chris Tanner suggests the picture of Jesus is actually a depiction of one of the Pope's sons. Now that is a point that would support my personal beliefs that Jesus did indeed exist, and man, the powers that be behind man over the past 2,000 years, have tinkered with his image to try and profit and to take benefit. Like, for example, it is suggested that the paintings of Jesus were actually the paintings of the Pope's son. Because man is faulted, man is weak, man is not without sin, and man is whom painted Jesus, is whom wrote about Jesus, and is whom, preaches. And for 2,000 years, man and woman has I don't know about you, but I don't trust man or woman. So my personal one wish, if I ever get a wish, is to meet Jesus Christ. Because I want to hear it from him. Your gun is digging into my hip. Patrick O'Hurley. Good morning from Monterey Bay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, Patrick. It takes a village. And all I do is try to be here every day in these times of need. And it's really you all that take the conversation where it's going. Some of these days, I'm interested in hearing what you all think of the term God of your understanding, or just what you all think, period. Yeah, some people think that, Mike. Some people think that Jesus is coming. Einhorn is Tinkle. Tinkle is Einhorn. Your gun is digging into my head. People who aren't familiar with Ace Ventura are probably like, what is wrong with James? What is he talking about? Patrick, good morning. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't, and hit the like button while you're down there. I don't know why. Apparently it helps get the message out. It does take a village. That's why I, over my 39 years, have kept an open mind to all personalities, because there's something valuable in all of us. And there is billions of different personalities. I think I just heard a ghost. Man, I want to vape so bad. I wish I had my vape. But I don't, because when it comes to addiction, in my experience, you gather all the tools and resources and support and fellowship, but in the very end, after all that is in your toolbox, it comes down to whether or not you're going to decide, whether or not I'm going to go decide to dig that vape out of my garbage can and vape the tiny, burnt tire tasting little specks of vape that are still left in there or not. I have done that, but I will not, at least just for today, I won't. In my experience with addiction and recovery, with all the tools that we do need, in the end, it does come down to our will. It is said that God granted man will, and it's true. I can decide to go get a drink, go get a cigarette right now. But it is through our higher power, it is suggested, that grants us the knowledge, tool, wisdom, courage, and strength to make the right decisions. And it is through a God of our understanding that we acquire these assets. And I believe that. It is not, AA has kept true to their original writings. Coffee and cigarettes. Gotta love it. Yeah, Mike, that's one of the reasons I don't like nicotine, is because although it gives me a shot of serotonin and endorphins and oxytocin, like pretty much all substances do, it constricts my capillaries and gets me all, makes my hands cold and gives me a headache. Good morning, Randall. Cigarettes have been the most difficult to quit. I can agree. I don't know how long you've been here, Randall, but I've been off and on. I quit cigarettes when I quit drinking. And throughout my alcohol relapses, I've been through 10 months of non-drinking and smoking, and went to a birthday party. And I must have went there. This is before I learned how to look out for relapsing signs, which we talk about often. This was before I learned that, so I ended up at a birthday party that I knew beer was going to be there. My subconscious had me there. And as soon as I got a beer, I bummed a Newport 100. Later that night, I ended up eating an eighth of psychedelic mushrooms and getting lost in the night in my city. And my cousin had to come pick me up. After 10 months of sobriety, going to electrical apprentice school, doing the damn thing, I, within moments of being at a party, had a cold beer, a Newport 100, and then later that night, got lost in the city night on mushrooms. That's how important it is to believe in our higher power when it comes to preventing us, giving us the strength, wisdom, and hope to prevent us from relapsing. "5 months sober on Thursday," Randall says, and quit smoking Thursday. Excellent, Randall. I'm with you on that. Here's what I here's what I am using right now. I highly recommend them. I'm still clearing my throat, as you can hear from these past 2 weeks of vaping. It's frustrating, Randall, and the rest of us. It's, doing what needs to be done is frustrating. Yeah, they work. And speaking of a God of your understanding, it is said in AA and NA that it is suggested that God does for us what we cannot do for ourselves frequently. And when I went to pick up those lozenges, I was wearing a face mask for the first time and I was a bit distracted. So I didn't notice that the guy had put on the counter a 3-pack of, I think there's 12 in here. And that was gonna cost like $50. I didn't want that. I wanted to quit with one of these. However, he said, do you want to use your 40% coupon? And I said, yes. And he says, you just saved $17 or something like that. And I said, how much did they cost? And I looked down and it was the 3-pack, but I saved damn near 50%. And usually when I run out of this one is when I start to think about going to get some more vapes. So it's suggested in the programs of recovery that our God of our understanding does for us what we cannot do for ourselves. And perhaps that is true by accidentally saving 15% on 3-pack of nicotine lozenges. Hey, good morning, Mark. How you doing this morning? Aha! See? I almost instinctively went for some more nicotine, but then I decided that I don't really want it or need it right now. But my addict almost subconsciously just dished one out to me. My addict, I referred to as my addict, is the addict in all of us that talks us in and out of, talks us into bad things and out of good things. And even though I don't like stimulants, for some reason, just because it has drugs in it, I want to go get some more coffee. But I'll tell you a tip that's been suggested for a long time is when you're quitting something, get a supplement or a replacement to go into that physical actions. And that's why you can use a toothpick or gum when you're trying to quit smoking. And since I want to go get some more coffee, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go put some water in my coffee cup. And I totally support this theory. Takes the edge off of things. My subconscious addict will no longer want to go get some more coffee if I have some water to drink. I'll be right back. Hey, green-eyed cat's in here. Morning, green-eyed cat. How you doing, Brian? I was taking a look at some of your pictures on. By the way, green-eyed cat's a professional photographer in Australia. You can post your name on Insta if you'd like, Brian. I like some of your pictures about surfing and landscapes. They're pretty good. Aaron, yes. When you get the urge to smoke, here's my take on it. You're not going to want to eat a mint when you need a cigarette. Your addict's going to tell you that's not going to do anything. Don't bother. Just go back to smoking. But what you do is put one foot in front of the other and just pop one in your mouth, and it takes the edge off the craving. Before you know it, 5 minutes passed and you're not looking to go smoke again. And I can attest firsthand that it works. Now I just need to work on sustaining abstinence from nicotine after I'm off of these mints, because after a month, 2 months, my addict will convince me that there was nothing wrong with vaping. Or I'll be in a gas station and there right in front of me is that vape on sale, and we addicts are impulsive, and before you know it, I'm walking out of the gas station with a vape. So I need to work on sustaining. You may have heard before that we have built-in forgetters. Addicts have built-in forgetters. When we're sober, we forget how bad it was when we were drunk, and when we're on a drinking bender, we forget how good it was when it was sober. Same thing with nicotine. When I vape, I get all phlegmy, start hacking up phlegm, and my body objects to it by kind of getting shaky. When I have a vape in my possession, I vape it pretty much like it's air. I might breathe more vape than I do air, and I really don't like that, and it gives me a headache, makes my hands cold. My body objects to it. However, after a month of not vaping, I forget all of that. I forget the feeling of cold hands. I forget the feeling of the headache, because we have built-in forgetters. And that's when the tool of playing the tape through comes in handy with alcohol, with drugs, with nicotine. Playing the tape through is just another term for getting past that craving. Obviously, getting a vape is going to feel good at first, but I need to play the tape through to the part where I'm vaping constantly. My hands are cold, I got a headache, I don't feel well. That's what playing the tape through, that's the purpose that it fills. And it has worked for me for drinking and drugs, but nicotine the consequences are a little more subtle, which also is a double-edged sword, because, before you know it, you got lung cancer, and then you finally get a consequence that's worth quitting smoking for, but it's too late. And my logical brain knows that nicotine in all its forms are hazardous. I did, in fact, have a doctor tell me one time, and who knows if she was right or not, but not all doctors are right. But she said, "Why don't you just, if you have to have nicotine in your life, why don't you just do the lozenges or the gum for the rest of your life? They don't have. I don't think they have at least as many carcinogens. They're definitely not as hazardous. Our lungs are like tissue paper, except just take out the word paper. They're literally tissue. Our lungs are literally tissue, like in every literal sense, definitive sense of the word tissue. Our lungs are tissue, and my lungs have taken enough abuse. And who knows what nicotine does to your nervous system. Hey, thanks, Mike Tucker, for repeatedly points to the streamer while chanting, "Get good." I wonder if my little thing's gonna come up here. It better. Thank you, Mike. Hopefully something's gonna happen up here any moment now. Oh, goody, there's no sound. Are you all hearing that sound? I swear, Mike. I have been messing with this. Did you hear a sound, a badass guitar when that was playing, Mike? Or anybody? And I don't think it's just me anymore. Oh, you could hear it. Excellent. Thank you, Aaron. I didn't hear it. Good. Did it sound echoey or distorted or any kind of, did it sound good or bad? Because this, I don't think it's me anymore. This program is glitchy. But here, let's try it again. Oh, now I hear it. Right on, Mike. Thank you very much. Happy Easter to you too. I like this hippo over here too. I wish it would show, get good, get good. I wish it would show this hippo up here. Mike Tucker said it sounds like some guy who picked up a guitar for the first time. Well, not all of us are worthy of Stevie Ray Vaughan licks, Mike. Polly Pinch talking about, I know you're kidding. See, I actually take the term just kidding. I take more offense to the term just kidding than the actual joke when people say just kidding. Do any of you all relate to this? When someone's like, sounds like somebody picked up a guitar for the first time. Hey, I'm just kidding, man. It's like, I knew you were kidding, but since you said just kidding, now I think you think I'm a moron with no sense of humor. And it's not that serious, I don't really think that, but if people are like, hey, put that Reese's cup down, fat ass. Hey, I'm just kidding, man. You're like, well, I thought you were just kidding until you said just kidding. Does anyone else think like this? Or is it just weird Polacks like myself? Here's Jojo. I texted him last night on my Discord. Says he's doing good. Maybe I'll invite him to the chat. For those of you who aren't familiar, I host a Discord server. It's just called Sober James Recovery Room. It's a 24/7 chat with me and my patrons and all people interested in recovery. And even if you pledge but then hit a tough time or something, you can't afford the $3 pledge, you still get to maintain access to the Discord. But for any of you that are, for all of you that are interested in a 24/7 chat, here's my Patreon link. I've hit 32 patrons and my next goal is 50, and if you help me achieve that with a $3, $6, or $9 pledge or $100,000 pledge, hint hint, I'm just kidding. I ask for single digits and only if you can afford it. And if you really, really want to get in there, I'll give you the Discord chat link. And sometimes I just give it here on chat when I feel one of those. YouTube is saying it's experiencing some trouble buffering. Do you all see me glitching or hear my voice like a robot or anything like that? Like today on Easter, Chris. Oh, so you're trying to tug at my Catholic guilt. Let me get a tissue. Hold on, gotta turn the heat down. Or off. It's a cooler morning here in my neck of the woods. Oh, good. Thank you, Julie. Sometimes, especially in these isolating times that we're in right now, YouTube gets a lot of traffic and has trouble streaming. So if I ever cut off, if we haven't done a lot of the live stream, often I'll just end the stream and make another one. So if I ever cut off in the beginning of a live stream, I'll make a new one. I'll end it and make a new run. And that's how that'll work. But if I cut off in the time like now or 40, 50 minutes in, I will, oh, here's Marissa. I'm gonna tell her we're streaming too. If this communication device works, we will soon see Marissa and Jojo in the chat. And just, chat a bit. Springfield? I can't believe I've forgotten where the Simpsons lived. Springfield. Is it Springfield? I'm not sure. No, for the sake of peace of mind, I don't broadcast my location over the internet. But I'm an American. It's not because I don't trust total strangers. Actually, it is because I don't trust total strangers. But as Mike Tucker, Julie, any one of my patrons can attest, once I get to know you, I open up a little bit. Don't DOX yourself. Lazy-eyed psychos visiting him. Mike Tucker's been here for a while, so he has witnessed some of the, shall we say, persistent viewers. Pooh Bear comes to mind. But I have also met and been able to offer my services or my ear to listen on the phone or FaceTime to some people in need. Sometimes people just are crying for help, is what I believe psychologists call it. Sometimes Marissa says she has to prepare food. That's another Catholic, I believe. No, Chris, they didn't come to my house. Although frequently on the live stream, I will give my home address and my social security number. I don't know why I do it. I just give my social, my home address, and my date of birth. I've really got to stop that, to tell the truth. Philly, I'm not familiar with a Philly accent, Polly. Although I think the roots are from Philly. Yeah, my social, my credit card. Sometimes I just randomly hand that out. Actually, when I started this channel, it was difficult to balance the line between what do I say and what don't I say. But on that Discord chat, on my Patreon page and stuff, we have a very open way of speaking, although I still, I mean, we just got to be safe when dealing with the internet, you feel me? But I've talked on the phone. I mean, I literally have a new group of friends. LT from Recovering Addict. We know each other because of he wanted to do a collab, and we did a collab, and now I have a tremendous amount of respect for him and his recovery. I heard his sponsor talk last night. I don't know how many of you guys, Alicia, Aaron, I saw y'all there. And I told LT, I'm like, well, I guess now the mystery of where you get your wisdom is solved. So. But I've lived all over, Randall. Oh, well, thanks, Chris. You should sign up for it now. I'm just kidding. That's the businessman in me. But for everyone's information, and my patrons can attest to this, I'm in recovery and sobriety first, business second. I do need to make a living, which is why I'm seeing how possible the potential is of this whole YouTuber thing, and I'm having fun with it. But I am in recovery first. As I told LT, my heart is in recovery, my balls and my brains are in business. Damn, I should take Jesus Christ's face down before SpongeBob dances all over it again. I'll just open this up. I'll just open this area up for super chats and subscriptions. For those of you who don't know, the super chat is the little money button down there where you can broadcast your chat in a little custom guitar riff up here. I guess I could take a vote. Who wants me to put that meme back up for SpongeBob to dance all over? But if you're in here and you haven't subscribed, if you've subscribed now and hit the bell, SpongeBob will do a little dance for you and put your name up for all of internet to see, and you will be YouTube famous. Ah, Randall. Randall, do we know each other? Randall, I worked as an industrial commercial electrician for the IBEW for 4 years until I got kicked out for popping on a drug test. Here's a little hint of where I have lived. I was in local 236. and I helped run cable for a juvenile delinquent facility that Mike Tyson did some time at as a youth. Here's a couple of hints. Mike Tucker was a residential electrician. Pussy! Sparky, cheers. That's what they call me on the flight deck. I've also been an aviation electrician for FA-18 Hornets for the United States Navy for 4 years. Shh. Yes, Albany. Chris Tanner. Lucky for us, there are many Albanys in many states. Aaron Yost says, I'm not Catholic and I have a question. Do you still take communion when you go, or is that detrimental to your recovery? I'm pretty sure they have actually in modern times, I think many Catholic churches have switched to grape juice. Pussies! Excuse me, I have allergies or something. I'm kidding, of course. But in modern times, at least probably the newer age Catholic services have switched to grape juice. Chris confirms this. Randall, you're a Navy nuke and a union electrician. We have a lot in common, Randall. I fully expect to see your name pop up on my phone as a new patron. Because I quit that line of work and a factory job. Well, actually, I got a back injury and have decided to follow my dream here. And I'm sure being a fellow shipmate of the Navy and a fellow brother of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, I'm sure you can relate to me trying to do what I love for a living instead of crawl spaces and aircraft carriers. Grape juice and wine, Lutheran. Here come the Happy Easter texts. Yeah, the electrician gig was hard. It was a good job, but to tell the truth, Randall, my drinking and using got in the way. I was doing big jobs. There is a microchip factory up near Albany area that I was working on, and it was of the size and scale that they were drug testing the construction workers for insurance purposes, I'm sure. And I remember smoking a bowl in my car going to take the drug test and listening to a Primus song, and Les Claypool was singing "Remember This Day," and I was smoking a bowl right before going in to do a piss test. And Les Claypool was singing "Remember This Day." And that's when I popped up my drug test. Too many puppies are getting lost in the dark. Too many puppies are being trained not to bark. That's a dope ass song, dude. Primus is still one of my favorite bands to this day. But Randall, I spent 4 years in the apprenticeship program, so I almost was a journeyman. My pay was getting high, my benefits were awesome, but I was getting high as well. So I actually told the director of my apprenticeship, who was a dick, his name was Rick, I guess I shouldn't disclose, but he sat across the desk, and he's like, "Why are you missing so much work?" And I'm like, and I had been lying for years, but I finally surrendered and told him, "Rick, I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict, and the reason I crashed my car years ago, as I started the apprenticeship, spent 3 months in a coma, that was because I was driving drunk. The reason I miss work is because I'm usually drunk and I'll drink instead of going in." And this fellow electrician, the director, the big head of the guy, and he had a big head. He's like, and this is the first time he was anywhere near human and anywhere near a man to man with me. He looked at me and he goes, "Well, why didn't you tell me that? We got a guy for that." And he sent me to another brother who was a union member, and his job was to connect union members that were addicts to rehab and AA. His union job was to connect brothers and sisters that were in the union to rehab. And he gave me 2 choices for rehab facilities in the dead of winter: Newark, New Jersey, or San Diego, California. And he gave me those 2 choices and looked up from his computer, and I'm like, do I really need to say it? And he's like, San Diego it is. And it was actually Temecula Valley, but I landed in San Diego. But for all of you all that are scared of coming out as an addict or alcoholic, that was one of the most relieving moments of my life when I told the guy that's in charge of my fate, like, look, I cannot control my drinking, and it is affecting my apprenticeship here, and it is affecting the jobs I'm on, and it's downright dangerous with those high voltages. Commercial industrial electricity is gnarly, and I did put myself in danger and others, but I was out of control. We have no control over alcohol and drugs. And then long story short, I went to rehab, was all about sobriety, but I came home, decided to fix my ACL had been snapped in two years earlier. I decided to get that reconstructed. Then came the Percocets, then came the weed, then came the booze. I went back, they kept my job. I went back, but continued to drink and use, and winded up putting drugs and alcohol before my job, and so lost it, as I did with relationships, houses, cars, everything. And that's how I know that there is absolutely no doubt on this earth, if you are an addict or alcoholic, you cannot control drugs and alcohol, no matter how hard you try. We are powerless over alcohol. So I could have been an electrician. I could be a very well-paid union electrician right now, although I still don't think I would want to be, and I never would have discovered my true passion, which is helping addicts and alcoholics through creating content and chatting like this. Some name I can't taxopobe. Hello everyone, hello James. I'm new here. I've been trying to quit alcohol for a year now, but I couldn't stay sober for more than 2 months. It hurts me so much. Any advice? I have plenty, but I can only tell you what I've done because I've been there. I've gone 2 months sober, I've gone 10 months sober, I've gone a year sober multiple times and relapsed. I am experienced with relapse. And on this day, I haven't drank for 4.5 years or used mind-altering drugs for 4.5 years. So it could be said that I have attained sustainable sobriety. So, where I won't give you any advice, I'll tell you exactly what I've done. And what I did was admit that I was powerless over drugs and alcohol, that my life had become unmanageable. And I came to believe in a power greater than myself, that was power greater than me and greater than alcoholism. And for me, that was Alcoholics Anonymous. The third step is giving my will over to Alcoholics Anonymous. Basically means I no longer use my ideas. When in doubt, I use the principles and ideas of AA. When I started doing that 4 years ago, it worked when nothing else I've tried has. So to answer your question, name that I cannot pronounce or spell, I'm just going to call you Capone, and I hope to see you back here. I wrote my sobriety date on the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll help you any way I can. I have over 80, 90 videos and almost 100 live streams. I'll post the playlist to my live streams. Every one of these live streams, which I'm doing twice a day now, is recorded in this playlist right here that I'm about to post. There's the live stream playlist. Well, actually, no, that's just another playlist. But if you go into my playlist, you'll find all live streams, and we talk about multiple things. And I also offer Zoom meetings as frequently as I can on my Patreon page. I'm trying to make a living out of doing this channel, so I'll just go ahead and post my Patreon page again. But you don't have to pledge to gain access to the Zoom meetings. I've been posting them publicly, and other benefits are available on there in public posts. But if you do choose to support me on my sober journey, I will be your genie in a bottle, and there is a 24/7 Discord chat room where you can chat much like you do here right now, but 24/7. And it's growing. I have, I think, 32 patrons now, and all of us support each other. And my advice is keep coming back to sobriety, whatever form that takes for you, however many times it takes, keep coming back to sobriety. Here's my new Facebook page as well. Just go there and become a member, and there's a lot of support and fun to be had there as well. Capone says, I remember the most powerful thing you said was when you said that at some point you almost accepted that you can't quit, and that's it. I have the same thoughts. You can quit. Take it from me, you can. Actually, here is my one sentence advice to anyone who wants to quit anything in the world. When you are willing to do whatever it takes, you will be able to do anything you want to do in this world. In fact, I learned from AA, what it took for me was giving my will and going to AA meetings no matter what. Don't drink, go to meetings. That's what it took for me. And what that taught me is I can apply that to any area of my life. And then about 3 years after I got sober, I started applying that to this channel, Sober James channel. And I have almost 6,000 subscribers now, a year later. And that demonstrated to me, we can do anything on this earth that is humanly possible when we are willing to do whatever it takes. And for me, whatever it took meant I keep coming back to AA meetings. I no longer use my toxic ideas because, Capone, I don't know if you know this, but we're not bad people. Addicts are not bad people. We are sick people. We suffer from a disorder, a disease called alcoholism and addiction. It is a disease of self. It is a disease of thinking. And a symptom of this disease is self-medicating, drinking, drugging, anything, sex, gambling, you name it. We're trying to treat our disease. What AA does, And what recovery and fellowship does is it treats the disease, and you are removed from the obsession to drink. And that is 100% absolutely true. These past 4 years, I was of the alcoholic type of 20 years, where if I wasn't drinking, I was thinking about drinking. Randall, when I was at work, when I was on the job being an electrician, I was waiting for 3:30 to come around. 3:30 is when we get off. We start at 7:30. And sometimes I didn't even wait. I would get out of work early with some lame excuse, and I would hit the liquor store on the way home, and I'd be drinking in my car. As soon as my car door shut in the parking lot of the liquor store, my liquor would be cracked and in my system. I was that type of alcoholic, and for going on 4.5 years now, I have not had a serious thought about drinking. It has been removed because I treat my alcoholism and addiction with the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous. And you can use Narcotics Anonymous. Either one will work. They're the same principles. And the first step is the most important step. We're powerless over our addiction, and our lives have become unmanageable. That is the essential step. We're powerless. There is absolutely, positively no way that I can take drugs and alcohol, period, end of story. It's just the way it is. I've tried every single way you can think of. Drinking wine, not liquor, beer, not wine, drinking only on the weekends, never drinking at work, never drinking on vacation, only drinking on vacation, hiding my booze, trying to control my booze, never going to bars, only going to bars, never drinking at home, only drinking at home. I've tried it all, and it doesn't work. My life became unmanageable no matter what when I was drinking alcohol and using drugs. So the first step is we are powerless over drugs and alcohol, and then we move on. The second step is finding a power greater than yourself and power greater than alcoholism, and using their principles. And that for me is Alcoholics Anonymous. AA.org is where you'll find that. And on my channel, I talk a lot about AA. I am not afraid to talk about how I got sober. However, I don't call my Zoom meetings or these meetings Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. That wouldn't be fair to AA. I don't represent AA, but I am not afraid to tell people how I got sober, and that was AA. Everyone has different paths. Everyone has different higher powers. But as long as you believe in a power greater than you that can relieve you of the obsession to drink and return you to sanity, you can do it. So was I, Randall. I was a slave to my addiction as well. What's up, Antonio? How you doing, brother? Yeah, I ran fiber optic cable, Merc. I ran fiber optic cable, thousands of yards of fiber optic cable for the cameras for this juvenile delinquent facility that Mike Tyson once spent some time at as a juvenile. That's my claim to fame, baby. And then as a aviation electrician on a deployment in the Persian Gulf supporting Iraqi freedom on a nuclear aircraft carrier, Tiger Woods and his wife at the time came out to the ship, and he was hitting golf balls off the end of the ship, and he came out to thank us sailors. And that's my claim to fame, baby. Randall says AA was the last knot on the rope, and I was at the end of my rope. The next knot was my higher power. It takes two hands to climb a rope. Wise words, Randall. Thank you. Antonio, today my body's telling me that I should go get something to eat. So we're gonna wrap this up shortly, as it's been going on 2 hours. But I'm doing fair to middling today, Antonio. How are you? Yeah, Mike Tyson. Oh, he's sober. I didn't even realize that. But he is. I think as he matures, he's becoming a fairly spiritually fit guy. He's had a rough life. All right, Capone. Thank you, and don't forget to check out my Patreon page right here. And that goes for everybody, Randall, you included. My next goal is 50 patrons, and I'm at 32 right now. And like I said, I do what I can to serve with resources, with links and connections with the 24/7 chat and all that. All right, Aaron, enjoy Easter dinner. And I hope you have a wonderful Sunday as well. I might skip a Zoom meeting today unless we desperately need it. Message me on Discord if we need it. I have some work to do on a video I'm making for y'all. It's a video on online recovery, how to get there, the links, the resources we need, and my experience with it. I'm working on that video. And by the way, all my new patrons, I've gotten like 14 this month. New patrons, all of your names are going in the credits. Unless you don't want them there, message me if you don't want them there. Alicia and all the rest of my new patrons. I put all my patrons in the credits of my videos. So message me if you don't want your name, and message me how you want your name. So I'm making a video. That's what I'm going to be doing today, just relaxing by the fire. It's a little cold and damp in my neck of the woods, Randall. Polly Pinch always can't wait to get started and doesn't want to drop the mic. I respect that, Polly. Thank you for keeping the enthusiasm up for these live streams, but I do have to go eat something and work on my online recovery video, and including links and ways to get there, and what these Zoom meetings are all about and all that. But happy Easter Sunday to all of you all. And I'll be back tonight and every night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and check out that Patreon link for a whole bunch of cool benefits. And I appreciate it. So enjoy your day. And until next time, keep it clean, keep it real, and keep doing the damn thing. Peace.